What do you think about the BDS movement in terms of putting pressure on and bringing it out internationally? Is it kind of reached a dead end? Or
No, I don't think it's reached a dead end. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the term, BDS refers to what's called boycotts, divestments, sanctions. Basically, all the sorts of things that solidarity movements have attempted to bring to bear in order to exert pressure on renegade governments. So, or I should say popular initiatives to exert pressure on renegade governments. And the precursor for the BDS is, they say, is the anti-apartheid sanctions movement. First of all, the BDS movement has been extremely committed, resourceful, really impressive in the amount of energy and commitment they have invested. And there have been achievements. There's no question about that. There are two areas where I have my reservations about BDS are, first of all, their platform, and second of all, how realistic is their goal. The BDS says it supports international law, which of course I agree with. It says its program, its platform is based on international law, which I think is a wise strategy. They say they derive all of their rights of their platform, the right to self-determination, the demand that Israel end the occupation, the demand that the Palestinian refugees have a right to return, the demand that there should be equality of Palestinian Israelis in Israeli society. They say these are all principles of international law, and I think they're correct, and I wouldn't quarrel with that. That's the law. But when they're asked about Israel, and what do you recognize Israel as a state? They say we take no position. But that doesn't make any sense to me, because Israel is a state under international law. So if you demand certain rights under international law, then you have obligations under international law. That's the nature of rights. With every right comes a responsibility, almost every right. There are a few minor exceptions. With every right comes a responsibility. You can't claim a right for yourself, but then deny the right of Israelis to self-determination and statehood. That right has also been validated under international law. So I think there's a glaring inconsistency there, which I don't accept. And the second thing is it's a view of a long-term strategy. BDS seems to have convinced itself that BDS can liberate Palestine. I don't think anyone can liberate Palestine. It has to come from within. We can be solidarity movement, we can help, but there has to be a mass movement inside the occupied Palestinian territories, just like there was a mass movement in the American South, just like there was a mass movement in South Africa. BDS is boycotts, divestments, sanctions. They certainly can play a useful role, a powerful role, but they can't be the decisive element. That just flies in the face of all of modern history. I'm an atheist, though I'm no longer describing myself as a resolute atheist, because I'm getting sick and tired of secular atheists. They're too arrogant for my taste. And I think in some cases, God has intervened to show who's in charge, but that's a separate story. But even as an atheist, I do believe strongly that God helps those who help themselves. And it has to come from the Palestinians themselves. They have to help themselves. And then we can do our thing. But I think BDS is now foisting an illusion on itself that it can somehow achieve achieve for Palestinians what they're not doing for themselves. The Palestinians have given up for now. There's no real resistance in the West Bank now. It doesn't exist. So I think it's, I was a person of the radical left. I still am of the radical left. And there was a famous leader of the PAIGC. It was a liberation movement in a place called Guinea-Bissau. If anybody here has heard of Guinea-Bissau, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book. Okay, thank goodness I saved $10. His name was Amilcar Cabral, and he famously said once, or I like the quote, I'm not sure how famous it was, tell no lies, claim no easy victories. And I don't like movements which claim easy victories. No, BDS will not liberate Palestine. It's a tough struggle. It's a very hard nut to crack. I sometimes wonder what's the whole point of this, because it's so nutty. But you can't, 50 years to get this lunatic country to just return to its border. Does that make any sense? No. I just can't understand how the international community can tolerate it. Another EU statement. We need to kickstart negotiations. I'd like to kickstart some of these people right in their face. Really. It brings out the violent side in me. What are you talking about? Let's just end this insanity already. For Christ's sake. Was that for Yahweh's sake? Okay, next.